Today, I'll give you 5 tips that are going to make you a better leather worker. Hey guys, today I'm going to give you my list of 5 things that are going to make you a better leather worker. These are things that I've picked up along the way and they really help out. The best part about them is they're going to cost you very little, if anything. Most of the stuff, if I do need you to get it at all, is negligible. It's not too bad at all. Stick around right to the end, listen to all 5 things. It won't take very long, and I guarantee if you actually listen to these things and give them a try, they are going to make you a better leather worker. They're things that I picked up at different stages and wish that I knew all of them right off the bat. But let's jump right into it. The first thing that's going to make you a better leather worker is measure twice, cut once. It's a classic for a reason. There's been so many times where I've rushed my cuts or marking for a cut and then found out that I cut it way too small after the fact. The beauty of leather is that you can cut it too big if you don't cut it the right size. But you can't really get away with cutting something too small. It just doesn't work that way. I actually intentionally cut my stuff too big, and then once I have it glued together, I go with the skiving knife, chop the edges off, makes everything look really clean. But measure twice, cut once. It's really important that you get those cuts right, because that kind of sets up how your product will look in the very end. Number 2, strop your tools. Go get something like this, or take a piece of 2x4, glue some leather to it, you have a strop. You should not be cutting anything without stropping your tools. It keeps them nice and sharp, helps you get your measurements right. This barber strop is from when I used to use a straight razor to shave. That's a few years ago now. But it works just great. It comes with a canvas portion, as well as the leather on top. The canvas portion I just use to put my rouge on it. This is jeweler's rouge, by the way. This is another important thing if you're stropping your tools. This is a pound of it, should last me a lifetime. Cost me $18 Canadian, I think it's $14 American. Buy this, make or buy a strop, and keep your tools sharp. All you really have to do is run your tool along the rouge or run it along the leather and you're good. Jeweler's rouge is used for jewelers to polish the metal, so it gets a really nice edge on there. It's not sharpening it, it's just how you maintain a proper edge on a blade. Go get a strop. Number 3, make multiple passes when you're cutting something. You don't have to force the knife through all of your leather at once. If you're using really thick leather, when you push a knife, even if it's really sharp, the leather warps. So it can actually mess with your measurements or just the angle of the blade as you're cutting through thick leather. Whereas, put your straight edge there, lightly run your knife a few times instead of forcing it through once. You're going to get a way nicer cut. It's going to be a more even edge. You may save yourself from cutting something too short or having a weird angle to the edge as you go and your pressure varies. So I would say don't be a hero, just take your time. It's not gonna, you don't have to force the blade through everything on one pass. That's something that I learned pretty recently, and it's actually made life a lot easier, because before I was just pushing the knife through and then, yeah, I would get these weird edges on my stuff and then you have to go clean them up after the fact. So just make multiple passes. It will make you a better end product. Number 4, when you're punching your stitching holes, punch through fewer layers of leather. You don't need to punch through 4 layers at a time, and you're making it hard on yourself. When you punch through a single layer of leather, it goes in here and comes out here. It's easy, right? But as the leather gets thicker, the more variance you have on this side, the more you change up this angle, the greater the angle is on the exit. When I first started, I used to get these really weird lines that would look good on the front side, not so much on the back side. And for a while I thought it was my saddle stitching, but it ended up just being how I was punching the holes. So I started, say for my bifolds, I would do the interior, punch these holes. Then I would take the exterior, punch these holes separately, and then line them up and stitch it. And that way I'm not punching through 3 or 4 layers or whatever this is at a time. You cut it in half a little bit and your holes look better. And then you can kind of cheat a little bit too. You can get away with, you know, you're punching this from the outside in. So these holes can be a little bit off from these. When you stitch it together, it's not gonna look any different really. They should be as close as you can get them, for sure. But if they're a little bit off, you're not gonna tell in the end product, and it's just gonna look way cleaner, and you won't get that one side saddle stitch that looks amazing and one side that looks weird. So don't punch through too much leather at a time. Just cut it in half maybe if you can, and line them up after the fact. It will save you a huge headache. Number 5. Practice everything, but practice your saddle stitch. The saddle stitch is something that's all muscle memory, and it seems to be one of the hardest things for a beginner to get down right off the bat. Really, the only way to get better at it is to practice. Yeah, you gotta read about it, watch some videos, get someone to teach you, for sure. It's like learning to drive a standard transmission vehicle. You can read about it and learn about it all you want, but you're not gonna get good at it until you do it. The same thing happens here. I mean, when I was brand new, when I wasn't making something, I was taking my scraps and stitching them up. I have so many scraps that look like this. It's crazy. Just find some straight edges on your scraps, punch some holes into them, stitch them up. It's gonna make a huge difference. Just like with anything, the more time you get in doing something, the better you'll get at it. That goes for every step of this process, but saddle stitching seems to be one of the more difficult things, and it's one of the things that is easily solved just by practicing. Just make more stuff and practice stitching on scraps when you're not. That will make you better at it. Go check out one of my other videos. I got a few of them posted now. I do post videos every week on Wednesdays, so like and subscribe to my channel. If you like what I'm doing here, it helps support me, and it'll deliver them to you weekly as well. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments and I'll get back to everybody. You can also get a hold of me on mainly Instagram. I am on Facebook. I'm not super active there, and for whatever reason my phone doesn't send notifications from Facebook. I don't know why. I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks.